I then started thinking and wondering and worrying. When I went back into hospital in February of '99, I was so concerned about it, I made out my own notice, which I put above my bed in a 9-bedded ward, saying, I have got MRSA. Take care, protect yourself. It was ripped down. I was told I'd frighten the other patients. I said, but, you know, according to what I read, I should have barrier nursing. I should be in a single ward. But as I'm not, people must be aware that I got MRSA. Well, don't worry about it. We'll tell them.
Now, you've been on the front line fighting for it, and you've also been a victim. In general, how seriously do you think they take it in this country, MRSA?
I've said that they've put up the white flag to it. They've surrendered to it, that they're afraid of it, afraid to fight it. That's true.
For you, how many antibiotics are out there left for you with regard to MRSA?
I've been told that there are only 1, possibly 2, which can actually destroy my MRSA, which is why I'm actually trying to be treated with antiseptics, 1 antibiotic and 2 antiseptics to treat my MRSA. But if they do not work, then I have a very serious problem. They don't really know what they can do then.
Is it something which you can live with, MRSA, or something you can contain?
Well, as I've been very healthy in myself for the last 1.5 years or so, a bit longer than that, it's just limited to various spots on my body which can be quite painful and which can be cut out if necessary. But if I was to get an infection, for example, if I was to get a serious lung infection or liver infection or anything like that, and if MRSA was managed to colonize there, then that would be very serious and that could be life-threatening. And also MRSA, although I'm a young, healthy girl with a fairly good immune system relatively, but some old people and people who have lesser resistance, lesser immune system, then it can be very dangerous for them, also for babies.
Entonces de pequeño no, lo único que para las anginas, de pequeño ya, pero que no me daban tan fuertes, porque ha sido al cabo de los 20 años cuando me ha dado fuerte, pero de pequeño cuando a todos nos da las anginas siempre recurriendo al Ardine. Al Ardine, y el Ardine sí que se abusó, el único medicamento que se abusó porque estaba muy bueno. pero nada más, y luego ya no, yo soy antiantibiótico.
Y también había veces que yo me sentía muy mal, o sea, baja de moral, y lo que también era por parte de que estaba mucho tiempo enferma y tomando el antibiótico.
Well, the problem is everywhere, but of course the infections that we treat outside hospitals are not as serious as the one we see in hospitals, so that's why the consequences are more obvious in the hospitals, but the resistance is growing also outside hospitals, and we're facing difficulties to find good antibiotic treatment also in those cases. So everyone has to participate, and what is needed really is first of all that we reduce the inappropriate antibiotic use to a minimum, and also to minimize the spread of resistant bacteria in the community, in the hospitals, everywhere.
Daycare centres are typical surroundings where people are gathered closely together, and they make perfect breeding grounds for the spreading of bacteria and consequently also of resistance. How does the use of antibiotics within farming affect us humans? Antibiotic-resistant bacteria from animals could get stored in their flesh, which is our food. Cattle are often given the same drugs as us, many being available without prescription from feed stores. Can we find new antibiotics? Will we win the race? Might we be facing a return to the days before Fleming, when it was safer to stay at home than to have surgery in hospital? Bacteria seem to be able to adapt as fast as we are able to make new antibiotics. In the future, MRSA may lead us to avoid common operations such as hip joints, cardiac valves and knee surgery. The simple conclusion is, take antibiotics only when you really need it, follow the prescription and consider reasonable hygiene.
What's the worst case scenario facing us?
Well, I mean, I think it's already there. With MRSA, the the methicillin-resistant Staph aureus, this bug kills people probably more than SARS. It's already there, and you know, one can't predict the future, but there's nothing to say that a bug that is more common, such as a streptococcus or something like that, might not develop a similar resistance patterns, and you know, who knows? But it could be that we're looking down the barrel of a gun when you know, the bugs have been around a lot longer than us, and by assuming that we will always develop more antibiotics, better antibiotics to sort it out, you know, we're making a pretty bold assumption there, and it could be that resistance genes are developing in common bacteria right now that make the SARS virus picture just look like a Sunday school picnic.
Antibiotics are perhaps our most important medicine, but in the worst case scenario, boundless epidemics of resistant bacteria could turn previously treatable diseases into killers, as in the days before antibiotics were developed. Already some microbes are resistant to all known antibiotics, leaving victims to be treated with experimental and potentially toxic drugs. As the resistance problems are mostly of our own creation, so too the solution rests in our own hands.